And a pleasant good evening to everyone out there watching on the Graddick Sports Facebook page and listening on KISS 102.7, and to the crowd here in the Mustard Seed Cafe at City Station. It's the Team SMI starting lineup presented by SMI right here in the Mustard Seed Cafe alongside Aaron Sones. I'm Matt Skinner. It's a pleasure to be with you guys. And Aaron, thanks for making the trek down here once again this week, and another exciting week of football coming up this week.
No question about that. I mean, it was a great start to the season last Friday. I think we've got some, other interesting games on the lineup for tomorrow night. And, I'm really excited about the college football season, starting tonight as well. In fact, as soon as we get off the air, I think Georgia Tech and Clemson will kick off, if you can watch it, if you have the ACC network on your provider.
Well, I have YouTube TV, so of course I can. Those who have Dish Network, they're kind of out of luck. They can't watch the Braves. They can't watch ACC Network, and I think they cut CBS too for whatever reason. So if you're an SEC football fan, you better find CBS fast on a Saturday. But we got a great show lined up for you. Hall of Famer and Coach Dwight Hochstetler, over 345 wins. He's going to be sitting right across from us at about 7:30 this evening. We've also got the defensive coordinator at the Carrollton Trojans going to stop by here at the Mustard Seed, Coach Brian Simmons, and might have, they're saying, one of the best defenses in Trojan history. That's been the talk. Of course, there's been some good Trojan defenses out there, so we'll pick his brain a little bit. Big ball game coming up against East Coweta. Aaron will be on the call for that. We'll break that down some more. What are you looking forward to this evening, Aaron?
Yeah, just talking to Coach and kind of getting a sense from him of how he feels, because, Carrollton's one of the only teams, maybe the only team in the area that did not kick it off last Friday night.
Yeah, them and Temple were the
Temple.
Two of the 9 schools that did not kick off last week.
So just kind of get a feel for what he thinks about this East Coweta team and the Trojans this year, because I think if you ask them to a man, they probably weren't pleased with the way things kind of turned out at times in that scrimmage, and they looked a little sloppy at times. So want to see if they got that worked out to get ready for an East Coweta team that they got beat pretty good in the Quick Kill Classic on Saturday. So it'll be interesting to see what the matchups look like for that game coming in.
Yeah, we appreciate all the folks watching. Feel free to get on Facebook now, and we'll try to answer any questions that we have for you guys. And we'll get started here right after this on the Team SMI starting lineup, live here at the Mustard Seed Cafe at City Station. You're listening on KISS 102.7 and on the Graddick Sports Facebook page.
Make sense of investing. Edward Jones, Carrollton, Villa Rica, and Douglasville. Member SIPC.
Every football fan knows that the 2-point conversion can make all the difference in a game. That's why State Farm is here to help you go for 2 by combining your home and auto insurance. This is State Farm agent Amy Brown reminding you that bundling your insurance can save you time and money. It's just another way to put 1 in your win column. Call me, State Farm agent Amy Brown, at 678-840-5000. Stop by our office on South Candler Street in Villa Rica, or visit online at amybrown.biz. We're here to help life go right.
Did you know that Osier Apparel offers all-inclusive fundraising web stores? Donors order direct from the store, freeing you from handling money, getting product to donors, keeping track of ordering, accounting, or delivery. Osier will work with you to set up your store. They'll even help with your design. From tote bags to t-shirts, headwear to outerwear, an Osier fundraising website puts the fun back into fundraising. To find out more or to set up your store, visit OsierApparel.com or stop by their office on Avenue C in Carrollton.
At West Georgia Plumbing, Septic, and HVAC, a family-owned and operated company, we understand the importance of keeping your family comfortable and home functioning properly.
We are available 24/6 for any and all repairs and installations. We honor all military, first responders, teachers, and senior citizens with a 10% discount.
Give us a call at 678-708-8883.
And check us out online at westgeorgiahvac.com and westgeorgiaplumbingandseptic.com.
To God be the glory.
In America, someone's cell phone screen cracks every second.
I'd hate to be that guy.
Face it, someday you'll be that guy. When that day comes, don't send your phone off to be repaired. It takes weeks and costs a fortune. From busted screens to battery replacement, West Georgia Technology repairs phones and computers fast for a price that will make you smile.
Ah, shoot. So who do I call again?
West Georgia Technology, 678-664-0486, 928 South Park Street in Carrollton.
Whether it's a car accident, storm damage, or a fire, when the unthinkable happens, it doesn't matter if you saved money in 15 minutes. In this moment, it doesn't matter if your neighbor has the same insurance you do. In this moment, what matters is that your independent insurance agent and the company that stands behind them have you covered. Auto Owners Insurance, the no-problem people. Visit Susan, Gary, and the rest of the crew at Southland Insurance on Corporate Drive in Carrollton or online at southlandinsagency.com.
And welcome back into the Team SMI starting lineup presented by SMI. And Dave, if you don't mind turning that pre-feed off for us, I apologize. Live at the Mustard Seed Cafe here at City Station, Amy Brown State Farm, Edward Jones of Carrollton, Douglasville, and Villa Rica, Osier Apparel, Southland Insurance, West Georgia Plumbing and Septic, and West Georgia Technology Repair. We're sitting down now with defensive coordinator of the Carrollton Trojans, Coach Brian Simmons. How are you doing today, sir?
Doing well, sir. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all you coming in today and being a part of the program. I know it's kind of last minute, but big game coming up this week, a season opener at the University of West Georgia. Talk to us a little bit about East Coweta and what your preparations from spring to now.
Well, you know, East is a very good football team, and their 7A program. You know, anytime you're facing a 7A program, that's going to always give you a tough look, and they got a lot of kids. But you know, they played last week, played a really good Mill Creek team. But I tell you what, we've had a really good week of practice. Having that week off, say a week off, there's never really a week off. There's really no bye week really in football. But we've had a really good week of practice. Been able to get outside, wasn't too hot. You know, avoided the rain. Thought we had some good physical practices. Put some good stuff in. Kids are kind of chomping at the bit to go play somebody else again, you know. So it's been a really good week of practice.
Coach, what was it like having a quote-unquote sit the week out, you know, on Friday when everybody else kicked off, especially, you know, your opponent, East Coweta. They're playing in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium on Saturday, and you guys are just kind of sitting back. I'm sure you're practicing and stuff like that. But.
It's, you know, your kids want to play, but we did have some kids that were kind of banged up a little bit just from different injuries. So it kind of come at a good time. I think for the most part we'll have a good amount of kids back that we didn't have play in the scrimmage game, and they've been able to participate. And but you know, your kids want to play, you know, and as a coach you want to go every week. That's the routine. You know, you have a routine, you want to be in it. That's what football is about. So it's always hard, but was glad to be able to watch them on TV. And, you know, you didn't have to go all the way up there to battle any traffic or anything, but able to watch it home and record it and kind of watch it on TV quite a bit and over again and try to get a good feel for them, I guess.
Now, East Coweta more of a running team, or they want to try to at least run the football. So what we've seen so far, I feel like the strength of your team since you've been here is that front seven. I mean, you got two bookends and Kevin Swint, Chaz Shamlis, pretty doggone good. You're probably happy to have them two guys coming out on Friday night.
Oh, man, I tell you what, you know, those two kids are kind of the bell cow. And they've both been voted team captain this year by their peers, which, you know, to me that tells you everything about the kids, the way they work. But both of them have started kind of since their freshman year. And our front seven is really stout, got a lot of guys coming back to have a lot of experience. Some of them played from freshman, sophomore year, and now a lot of them are seniors this year. So we've got a good amount of seniors in that front seven, so that has to be the strength of our defense, because we do have some younger kids in the secondary, which I think are talented, and just kind of waiting to see how they get tested. So it was good to have this scrimmage and then have a week off to correct some things. But that front seven, we have some really big guys in there. Our D-line, I mean, we average from 240 all the way to 280, and then we got a couple that are 220, and 210. So we can kind of mix and match a little bit in there. They do want to run the ball. They have some really big offensive linemen. They have 3 kids returning off that offensive line from last year. They were really big guys, and I know they're having to replace their running back. Their running back was really good last year. He kind of went off on everybody else. They kind of hurt us in the pass game last year. They had some big plays on us, but running wise, that's what they want to do. Quarterbacks kind of seem to be more comfortable running the ball. They're 2 quarterbacks that they use. They're kind of running quarterbacks a little bit more, just because they've had a senior last year that was a senior. So.
How aggressive are you going to be defensively in terms of trying to put pressure on the quarterback with the playmakers that you've got at the linebacker spot?
Well, that's kind of built into our defense. We will call blitz and different things like that whenever the time arises. We're never just going to call a blitz just to call a blitz. A lot of the stuff that we do is off formations and different things like that. So try to build smart football players that they see their opening. They have the green light to be able to add that pressure on when it is a pass into their gap. And so, as long as they're doing their job, we talk about DYJ all the time, and kind of stole that from New England Patriots, good one to steal it from. So, sure. But, DYJ, so, as long as they're doing their job, that pressure gets added. But we definitely want to always be aggressive on defense. That's something we're always talking about is we want to be the aggressor. We want 11 guys doing one job, not one guy doing 11 jobs.
Yeah, let's talk about that secondary a little bit. Everybody knows about your front seven and the talent and experience you have. Talk about the back end a little bit. Mm-hmm. Really, really young, but like you said, really talented. Give us some guys that are going to have to step up, and what kind of progressions do you want to see from now until region play starts in a couple of weeks?
Well, we have some young guys, but we also have some older guys that maybe not have as much experience as they should as a senior, just because they've kind of sat behind some guys. But we have 3 seniors back there. Mikos Todd is a senior. He's playing some secondary for us. He's kind of been a running back all his life, and obviously he's really good, and he still does that for us. But he's able to add some versatility to us. And Jarius Edwards is a junior. He played a little bit linebacker for us last year. He's really, really athletic. He kind of plays our viper position, kind of a nickel outside linebacker type hybrid.
That's what one of my questions is going to be. What does the V stand for? I thought it was a vandal, like a linebacker at first. But
he's the viper, and I think I got that from when we went up to Michigan and visited with those guys. They have a viper position. I was like, man, that sounds aggressive. I like that. So he's somebody that's really stepped up for us. Christian Ramsey's a senior. He plays our rover spot. He has played a lot of corner in the past, but he's playing a safety position now. Same way with Cyrus McClure. He moved from corner to free safety, and I tell you what, if we could have gave an award to a spring football, highlight guy, it was Cyrus McClure, and he's just done a fantastic job moving him to free safety, and he's making a lot of calls and checks for us. Very, very smart football player, very long. I swear he's grown 2 inches since his junior year. I mean, he's right at 6'1", now, and he's just doing a great job back there for us.
I want to talk about your scheme a little bit. As a coach, you mentioned going up to Michigan and seeing some of the things that they do up there. Is there another college coach that you have borrowed your scheme from, or you've tried to emulate a little bit with some of the things that you do down here?
Well, every year you want to kind of go somewhere and try to pick their brain, and not about everything, but you go there for a reason. I want to talk about this certain thing. So I like to go, obviously we've been to Alabama quite a bit, been to Georgia, really admire the things that, Coach Smart, Coach Saban do. They've been doing it a long time and do a great job, and it always helps when they recruiting your players. You have an in to go and talk to those guys. But, Michigan's definitely always a team that is always in the top in stopping the run. And so kind of wanted to go see them and spend a day with Coach Brown up there. And we went to some smaller programs, Furman, and some different things like that to talk to them about how they play certain things, being a 3-man front, because we are majority of three defensive line front, but we do have the versatility to add a 4th guy. We'll get into a 4-2-5. We'll get into a 3-4. We'll get into a 3-3. So I think with the 3-man front, and especially with the big guys that we have at outside linebacker with Kevin and Chaz, they can always step up and be a defensive lineman very easily. And then you can get into a bear front where you have 5 guys on the defensive line. So we try to always build that versatility into our defense, so no matter what the offense is doing, we can always adjust.
What has it been like having the players that have the stature of Chaz and Kevin Swint, getting the attention from the big name colleges out there? Can that be a distraction to them in some way, or do you try to twist that into a positive?
I think if they didn't have the family that they have, the parents that they have, it could definitely be a distraction for them. But ever since, because they both had SEC offers since after their freshman year, and you think you have to push their head back down because they're going to get that bloated head, but I tell you what, they haven't. The good thing is it hadn't been a distraction for them, but it's kind of been a motivator. I have these offers. Now I have to make sure I'm doing what I have to do every day to show and to prove that I've earned these. Because a lot of times when you have that recognition that you're the top guy, the defensive, the bell cow or whatever you want to call it, top recruited guy, you get lazy. Well, these guys have kind of turned it up a notch. And like I said, they've been voted team captain, which tells you how hard they work and how not only they're a vocal leader, but they're a leader in the weight room. They're a leader in the classroom. And so those are 2 guys that our kids can look at. And another good thing, when all these guys are coming in and looking at those guys, they see some of our other players too. And so it kind of feeds off of that. So, what's good for one is good for the team, because when they come and see them, wow, tell me about that kid. So it's been really good for us.
We're talking now with Coach Brian Simmons, the defensive coordinator at Carrollton High School. We're going to ask you a couple more questions here, Coach. We appreciate you once taking your time. A big game day for y'all tomorrow. Trojan Nation really excited. Talk about some dual sport. What your opinion on dual athletes, dual sport guys? Because you've got on that defense. I know you mentioned Cyrus McClure. I know he was hurt last year, but he's going to be a contributor on the basketball team. Kevin Swint, a basketball guy, some track guys. So talk about what it's like to have those dual sport guys.
What makes Carrollton so special is how we share our athletes. I mean, we're always pushing. You definitely want guys to play 2 sports. I think it's harder to play 3 sports than ever it has been, just because I think there's a lot of pressure on guys to pick, and not from us, but outside, social media and different things like that. But our guys do a good job of playing football. They'll wrestle. They play basketball. They play football. They play lacrosse. We have baseball kids. We have it's just it's really good, and we want that because now you're always doing something. Idle hands, devil's workshop. So we want them to always kind of be doing something, because this is the only time in life maybe you get to play a competitive sport. If you don't go to college, if you go to college football, you're not running track too. Not really. So now is the only time you get to do 2 or 3 sports.
Right.
I wish I could go back and play even more than I did.
Well,
Coach, talk about that fancy building that y'all just built up. That indoor practice facility. How's it being utilized, and what has it meant for the program so far?
Well, I tell you what, every day our kids look at the board and want to know, are we in the indoor yet? So it's not open yet. I know they got some finishing touches going on. Hopefully in the next couple weeks it'll be open. I tell you, what's going to be such a huge thing for every, not just athlete, but for every student is going to be able to use it, from the basketball course to the weight room facility is going to be unbelievable. It is a college level, how big it is, and the machines that we're going to be able to have. We can help any athlete no matter what season, what sport they're in. It's going to double the size of our weight room now. It's going to be unbelievable. And we have a really good weight room now. It's going to be unbelievable. And then you can roll up the doors and go right outside and do speed and agility right on the turf field. So it's going to give us something that not many people have. You look at Georgia; they just got an indoor facility.
Right.
We're talking about we're going to have one. It's just unbelievable.
Talk a little bit about, obviously you're the defense coordinator, but the offense, you get to see them all during spring and all during pre-camp. You got a special quarterback in Miles Morris. And talk about kind of the development of the offensive line, young offensive line, young receivers coming in. What's the offense going to be like this year? That's what you've seen.
I tell you what, they have really grinded this week. I mean, they've done a really good job, and we've done some best-on-best stuff, from last week and a little bit into this week. You always want to, iron sharpens iron kind of deal. Yeah. So, we have a good front seven, so we go against them every day, and they've done a really good job against us. The quarterback, obviously, when you have a quarterback like that, he's really special, and probably one of the best I've ever been around. And even in college, when I was in college, he's just really special, and just a good young man, good leader too, and got some really good running backs behind him. With Brewer and Marinko and Todd, and I'm really excited. I think the receivers have gotten better and better. We had some guys that played a little bit, some guys that have been hurt that are kind of coming back. So. Kind of developed some timing with the quarterback. The quarterback was a little banged up too, and so it's exciting to see them all kind of there this week and kind of gelling, and offensive line kind of doing their thing, starting pushing people around. So it's been exciting to see this week.
Awesome.
Coach, one last question for you here. Mm-hmm. You've been to week 13, mm-hmm. Several years in a row now. I mean, do you talk to the players about that any at all? And in a sense of, okay, now this is, we want to take it a step further this year, or is that something that you just kind of let organically happen?
Well, we have high expectations, and we talk about game 15 every day, how to get there, what do we have to do, and we've had to change some things, not just defensively, but just as coaches. You don't want to repeat the same thing over and over again. You're going to get the same result. So, been to game 13 3 years in a row, and very thankful we've been able to do that. That's really hard to do. People don't understand how hard that is to do. But we have higher expectations, and our kids have higher expectations. And so we talk about game 15 and what we need to do. We got to seize the moments that we have, because we're a couple plays away. We just have to take advantage of those couple plays, and our kids know that. And we have a lot of seniors that have been playing for a couple years now, and they've been to game 13, and they want something more. And so I think from how well we've done this summer, from 7-on-7s to padded camps, we've really dominated the things that we went to, which is what we want. It's exciting to see the passion that these seniors have, because we can talk about it all we want, but they're always talking about it too. Mm-hmm. In the weight room, it gets foggy. They're putting 15-0 on the window, because they're thinking about it. We don't want to be the only one, so we'll talk about it, but then they're talking about it. They're talking about it to each other and holding each other accountable. Hey, get this last rep, because that's what it's going to take to get past that hump.
Awesome. Well, Coach Brian Simmons, defense coordinator at Carrollton High School, thank you so much for your time. I know it was last minute, and he did a pretty doggone good job. You can go back and watch the interview on our Graddick Sports Facebook page a little bit later on. Aaron and Greg will be on the call for the Carrollton Trojans on Friday, tomorrow, at the University of West Georgia. Unfortunately, an 8 o'clock kickoff instead of a 7:30 kickoff, so a little more under the lights than normal, but we're looking forward to covering the game tomorrow, and we'll see you out there.
Thank you. Go Trojans.
Yes, go Trojans.
Thanks, Coach. Thank you.
When we come back, we're going to sit down with legendary Bowdon coach Dwight Hochstetler, and we'll get things rolling once again right here on KISS 102.7 and the Graddick Sports Facebook page. Thank you again for coming in.
The Mustard Seed Cafe at City Station offers affordable, globally inspired cuisine, breakfast, lunch, and dinner in a pleasant atmosphere. More importantly, your meal is part of a bigger story. A portion of every meal sold goes to help those in need around the globe. Your meal matters, and when you eat at the Mustard Seed, your meal makes a difference. Bring the family down to City Station and break bread with us. Find us online or on Facebook. Mention Graddick20 for 20% off one entree through the end of August.
Join the 7 million investors who know the difference. For a proactive approach to your individual financial needs, contact an Edward Jones financial advisor near you. Call 1-800-ED-JONES, visit edwardjones.com, or stop by any Edward Jones office in Carrollton, Villa Rica, or Douglasville. Regardless of what the market is doing, we stay in touch. Even when the market's down, we'll call you up. Proactive, not reactive. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Edward Jones in Carrollton, Villa Rica, and Douglasville. Member SIPC.
It's not just your car. It's the car you worked overtime so your team could drive himself to football practice. This is State Farm agent Amy Brown. My team and I understand that your car and home are things you worked really hard for, and we're here to give them the protection they deserve. call me, State Farm agent Amy Brown, at 678-840-5000. Stop by our office on South Candler Street in Villa Rica or visit online at amybrown.biz. We're here to help life go right.
Osier Apparel makes it easy for you to outfit your employees in company attire. The Osier staff will work with you to set up a company store online with your logos, approved garment brands, colors, and styles. Once the store is up and running, employees visit the store and order direct within your allotted budget, or can order additional garments on their own within your preset acceptable parameters. You've got enough to do. Alleviate the hassle of outfitting your employees. To find out more or to set up your company store, visit osierapparel.com or stop by their office on Avenue C in Carrollton.
At West Georgia Plumbing, Septic, and HVAC, a family-owned and operated company, we understand the importance of keeping your family comfortable and home functioning properly.
We are available 24/6 for any and all repairs and installations. We honor all military, first responders, teachers, and senior citizens with a 10% discount.
Give us a call at 678-708-8883.
And check us out online at westgeorgiahvac.com and westgeorgiaplumbingandseptic.com.
To God be the glory.
In America, someone's cell phone screen cracks every second.
I'd hate to be that guy.
Face it, someday you'll be that guy. When that day comes, don't send your phone off to be repaired. It takes weeks and costs a fortune. From busted screens to battery replacement, West Georgia Technology repairs phones and computers fast for a price that will make you smile.
Ah, shoot. So who do I call again?
West Georgia Technology, 678-664-0486, 928 South Park Street in Carrollton.
Whether it's a car accident, storm damage, or a fire, when the unthinkable happens, it doesn't matter if you saved money in 15 minutes. In this moment, it doesn't matter if your neighbor has the same insurance you do. In this moment, what matters is that your independent insurance agent and the company that stands behind them have you covered. Auto Owners Insurance, the no-problem people. Visit Susan, Gary, and the rest of the crew at Southland Insurance on Corporate Drive in Carrollton or online at southlandinsagency.com.
And welcome back into the Team SMI starting lineup presented by SMI. Thank you guys so much for tuning in on our Gradic Sports Facebook page and listening live on KISS 102.7. We got some good football games coming up tomorrow, and we'll talk about those here in just a little while. But we've got the legendary Bowden and Greenville coach, Dwight Hosteller. How's it going today, sir?
Doing great. Appreciate you asking me to be here.
Yeah, we appreciate you being here. 37 seasons as a head coach.
Correct.
That's correct. I've got 345 victories to your name.
Correct.
3 state titles, 21 region champions, 71 all-state players, too, from what I got off of the Georgia High School historian page. And probably more importantly this week, 24-5 all-time against Bremen.
Correct.
So let's talk a little bit about you first before we dial into the big game coming up tomorrow.
All right.
Okay.
You got a question?
Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in coaching.
To be honest, when I graduated from college, I thought I had a job at Fairmount High School where I did my student teaching. And for some reason, that job fell through, and I had a friend that had a letter from Meriwether County about a math job. He said, well, call this number. They may have something for you. So I called, and sure enough, they said, come on down. And I went down on a Friday, signed a contract, moved on Sunday, and started work on Monday.
Wow.
So I was very fortunate. That's how I ended up in Meriwether County. And the first year, I got there late, so I didn't help with the varsity or junior varsity, but I did coach a rec team that year, and then the next year I got on at Manchester as a ninth grade football coach.
Wow.
Over time, how did you develop your coaching scheme and your style and personality? Is that something that you got from others, or did you just develop that yourself?
Well, basically, I got from my head coach when I was playing for Fairview High School in Alabama. So the straight T is basically what we ran when I was in high school, and then went from straight T, and then we shift some to a wing T, a wing I, and then when I got to Manchester, I was fortunate to have some great assistant coaches, and first couple of years at Bowden, we ran the straight T, and then Coach Prayer, my offense coordinator, we started running a little bit that wing T, what they was running, so we ended up with a formation with offense that was we can be finesse or we can be physical with it.
And had a lot of success with it. And as while you're coaching, you see the spread kind of come of age, and this is while you're still coaching at Bowden. Did you ever think for a minute maybe this is something that we want to try, spread things out a little bit, or was it always going to be?
Well, not really, because we were so successful with what we was doing. We was averaging some 35-plus points per season, and we did go to the shotgun some, but we was running wing team plays, so it didn't really affect the blocking or whatever. So, it gave something other schools had to prepare for. So, but basically, out of the wing tee, we got our traps, we got our off tackle power plays, and then we can attack outside. So usually in a game we'll start and see what play's going to work for us, because it's awful hard to stop a team inside, off tackle, and outside. So we're just trying to find what they're trying to stop, and we counter with it.
Sure.
So 1978 to 1987, you're at Greenville High School. Talk about after leaving Greenville, heading to Bowden. What was it like, the transition from Greenville to Bowden High School?
Well, Greenville is in Delaware County. It's a poor county, and we didn't really have that much. We couldn't get our kids, T-shirts and so forth. We just didn't have the money, and we just surviving, to have a football program at Greenville. But the kids there were great. They were coachable. But at Bowden, it was totally different. They had a great booster club. They raised money, and anything you needed, they got it. So I wasn't hurt, and I didn't ask for much. But give you an example, I cut the football field at Greenville with a snapper, and I had a reel mower at Bowden.
Wow.
So it took me about 5 hours to cut the grass at Greenville, where it just took 45 minutes to cut it at Bowden. So, things were a lot nicer, and they had the rec program. We didn't have a rec program in Delaware County, and everything just nice. I got my son in a better environment, and that's my goal. I wasn't pressured to leave Greenville, and that I wasn't even thinking about the Bowden job. Tell you the truth, I was umpiring a baseball game at LaGrange, and it was LaGrange versus Bremen, believe it or not, and the coach at Bremen was telling me about the Bowden job just came open, and he said, you need to apply for that. So sure enough, I did.
So a Bremen coach told you about the Bowden job.
Right.
Somebody might want to find that Bremen guy and tell him otherwise. He messed up.
Yeah, all the Bremen fans out there. So that's interesting. So, you get to Bowden, and I want to talk about your state championships a little bit. As a coach, when you have a team, you have a special season like that. What did you tell you guys right before the game started in those state championship games? And did that change over time, or was that something that you just kind of stayed true to yourself throughout?
Well, there's not really much you can tell them. They know how, they know what's at stake. They know how important it is, and they realize what they've gone through to get to that point. I'm talking about lifting weights and the blood and sweat and the practices in August and September and that high temperature, and they realize how important it is to the community. You really don't have to say much to get them fired up and ready to go. They realize what's at stake, and they realize how important it is and what they had to sacrifice to get there. So they're ready to play.
Do you like how, obviously Bremen Bowden not in the same region anymore, do you like how they played at the beginning of the year, or do you like it at the end of the year?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, while I was coaching at Bowden, we had it both ways. And,
right.
We opened a couple years, opened the season up with them, and you got a little bit longer to prepare for it. But I really play them late in the year. Usually when we play, it's for the region championship.
Is there a game, Bowden-Bremen game that comes to mind that may be elevated over the other ones?
Well, not really. They're all important, but at one time we had a 20-game winning streak against them in 18 years, and that was amazing because Bremen's no weak sister. I mean, they're well coached and they got a lot of athletes over there. But during that streak, we the 2 years we went to the state finals, we beat Bremen only 6-0 both years. So that tells you they pretty much on our level both years that we went to the state championship game. So they're you really don't have to motivate your kids. They're Bremen week, they're ready. I mean, they can coach themselves. They can go out there by themselves and get ready for Bremen because they realize how important it is. But more important, they realize how important it is to the community. I think the community wants to win that game more than the kids. It's that important to them.
Yeah, I guess especially in the cases where you've got players that you coach their fathers.
That's true.
I know that happen a lot.
And
right?
now I got kids that I coach, got kids playing for Bremen. So it's weird. So.
Yeah.
But it's a great rivalry.
I want to take a look at your 3 state championship teams. You had 2 at Greenville, and then of course the one at Bowden in '92. If you could put them on paper now, who would you say was the best team that you ever coached? And it might not, maybe one of your non-state championship teams might have been one of your best teams, but
well, I would say the first Greenville team probably had the best running backs. I had a Darryl Ogletree that had 2,662 yards rushing that year. And I had Alexander Lakes, had 1,400, and I had Charles Reeves at fullback, had over 700. So that was an outstanding backfield. Defensively, I would say 84 Greenville team probably had Larry Campbell at Lincoln County. So that defense is in the top 3 that he's ever faced. So that's a testimony there. And then I say the Bowden team, 92, offensively, total offensive line and running back, quarterback was probably the best offensive team.
Yeah, that quarterback from the '92 team, he coaches at Heard County,
right.
if I'm not mistaken, Randall Curbo.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of your players, I think you mean so much to them. And off the top of your head, I don't know how many you can say, but have gone on to be coaches because of you.
Well, there's quite a few.
Yeah.
And, Randall does a tremendous job down there. And then Joyner, defense coordinator at Mount Zion this year, has done a good job. There's a few of that I can't think of. But we've had doctors, lawyers. I mean, we've had a great group of kids come through. And I would assume that I coached about 400 plus.
Yeah.
In that time.
Are you enjoying retirement?
I am.
Do you want to get back out there? I know you want to get back out there sometime.
Well, I enjoy it.
Miss Sherry is over here.
Yeah, she just nodded her head over there.
She wants me to go back, but I enjoyed everything but the heat.
Yeah. So this time of year,
right? It takes a toll on me.
Yeah. No question about that. How much pride does it give you to watch your son coach and to be able to get on the field with him for a couple of years?
I'll tell you, my last 6 years in coaching has been the best. He was my offense coordinator my last 3 years of Bowden, and he did a super job. And then he got the head job at Manchester. And I was retired for a week, and he said, "Dan, I need you," because he didn't have that many coaches on his staff. And didn't have any teaching positions to bring people in, so I agreed to help him. I was his offensive line coach for 3 years down there, and I was amazed at the job he's done down there. He did so many things that I wish I'd done when I was first started as a coach. And he's averaging about 9 wins a year, and he's been in the playoffs every year he's been down there. This is his 5th year being at Manchester. So hopefully they'll go deep in the playoffs this year.
Like father, like son.
And we appreciate you once again sitting down with Coach Dwight Hostetler here on KISS 102.7 and our Graddick Sports Facebook page. Do you have a prediction you want to give tomorrow for the Bremen-Bowden game? I mean, obviously we kind of know where you're leaning towards, but
Well, two things. I've always been on offense with the offensive lineman, and usually the line that wins line scrimmage usually wins the ball game, and I think that's very important. I know Bowden's got some big kids, and I saw Bremen against Carrollton. I was impressed with them, how they physically stood up to Carrollton. And but I think it's going to come down to the quarterbacks. Bowden's got what people's telling me, a pretty good athlete at quarterback, but he's a freshman.
Yeah.
And the freshman's going to make mistakes. And the Bremen quarterback, when I saw him against Carrollton, I wasn't really impressed with him. I don't know if Carrollton was putting that much pressure on him or what, but he didn't really play that great of a game. So I think it's going to come down to the offensive line and the quarterbacks who makes the least mistakes.
Yeah, there's a lot of good athletes every year in the Bremen-Bowden game, but this year I think Bowden, in Coach Finley's second year, he's kind of got his group of guys ready to play and has that team speed aspect that haven't seen since your days.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And but Bremen's got I was shocked. They lost just about everybody off that team last year, and I was shocked how well Bremen's defense played against Carrollton. And they had some good sized men playing, and they didn't back down. They went toe to toe with Carrollton, so I was impressed with that.
Yeah. Aaron, you got any last words for Coach?
No, just thanks for coming in tonight. Really
I
appreciate it. I've got a little story. The first game that I ever called on the radio for Steve Graddick, 2006. Opening game of the year, you were playing somewhere in the state of Alabama. I can't even remember where it was. I'm not Mitch Gray. I don't have the memory that he's got.
You see, Woodland. Probably.
Woodland, yes, that's where we were. And I was on the sidelines, and they said, "All right, Aaron, we want you to get Dwight Hostetler, after the game or something like that." So I said, "All right, I'm going to get him." And I'd only been in Carrollton for about 2 weeks, so I didn't know who you were. Didn't know. I mean, I didn't even know where Bowden was, to be honest with you, because we had a road game. So I said, "Go get Coach Hostetler." So I'm running down, and I'm chasing somebody. It wasn't you. So I grabbed your offensive coordinator, thinking he was the head coach.
Steve Pruitt.
Yeah, that's who I grabbed, and then they were like, "No, that's not the way. He's a legend. I can't believe you couldn't find him," or something like that. So my cameo with Graddick Sports was grabbing the wrong coach, but I tell you what, after that night, I never forgot who you were.
All right, but you grab a great man.
Yeah, but he wasn't as good as you.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, we thank you for being on. Come see us at Coach's Clinic. I know you can stick your head in and come eat some pizza with us on Tuesday nights. Yeah, come on. I know Mitch and all the coaches would love to see you. We appreciate you taking the time out, you and Miss Sherry coming in tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Coach Dwight Hostetler, yes, he's still coach. He's been out for 2 years, but he will always be coach to the fine folks around these parts, and we wish him nothing but the best, and Evan the best at Manchester this year. And when we come back, it's college football time, right? We're going to talk a little college football and kind of recap and get ready for Friday night right here on the Graddick Sports Facebook page and KISS 102.7.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Looking for a fitness experience that isn't your typical big box gym? At City Station Fitness, we understand going to the gym can be intimidating, and we want to change that. City Station Fitness, a proud supporter of the Team SMI starting lineup, makes your fitness experience fun and personal, and we promise to know your name by your second visit. Give us a try, and your first workout will be on us. City Station Fitness, behind CVS on Maple Street. For more information, visit citystationfitness.com and check us out on Facebook.
Listen, then speak. That's how your Edward Jones financial advisor gets to know you, your personal situation, and your individual goals. Smart answers come from listening to your questions. Let your Edward Jones financial advisor show you the difference. For an Edward Jones financial advisor near you, call 1-800-ED-JONES, visit edwardjones.com, or stop by any Edward Jones office in Carrollton, Villa Rica, or Douglasville. Listen, then speak. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Edward Jones, Carrollton, Villa Rica, and Douglasville. Member SIPC.
It's not just your home or your car. It's the hours you spend in your kitchen mastering your legendary wing recipe and packing the family in the car as you head to the high school tailgate. While other companies just call it bundling, at State Farm, we see your home and your auto as the time and memories you make with them. This is State Farm agent Amy Brown. I understand what your family, home, and auto really means to you. Come see me, State Farm agent Amy Brown, on South Candler Street in Villa Rica to make sure you're getting the insurance protection that you deserve.
Did you know that Osier Apparel offers all-inclusive fundraising web stores? Donors order direct from the store, freeing you from handling money, getting product to donors, keeping track of ordering, accounting, or delivery. Osier will work with you to set up your store. They'll even help with your design. From tote bags to t-shirts, headwear to outerwear, an Osier fundraising website puts the fun back into fundraising. To find out more or to set up your store, visit osierapparel.com or stop by their office on Avenue C in Carrollton.
At West Georgia Plumbing, Septic, and HVAC, a family-owned and operated company, we understand the importance of keeping your family comfortable and home functioning properly.
We are available 24/6 for any and all repairs and installations. We honor all military, first responders, teachers, and senior citizens with a 10% discount.
Give us a call at 678-708-8883.
And check us out online at westgeorgiahvac.com and westgeorgiaplumbingandseptic.com.
To God be the glory.
In America, someone's cell phone screen cracks every second.
I'd hate to be that guy.
Face it, someday you'll be that guy. When that day comes, don't send your phone off to be repaired. It takes weeks and costs a fortune. From busted screens to battery replacement, West Georgia Technology repairs phones and computers fast for a price that will make you smile.
Ah, shoot. So who do I call again?
West Georgia Technology, 678-664-0486, 928 South Park Street in Carrollton.
Whether it's a car accident, storm damage, or a fire, when the unthinkable happens, it doesn't matter if you saved money in 15 minutes. In this moment, it doesn't matter if your neighbor has the same insurance you do. In this moment, what matters is that your independent insurance agent and the company that stands behind them have you covered. Auto Owners Insurance, the no-problem people. Visit Susan, Gary, and the rest of the crew at Southland Insurance on Corporate Drive in Carrollton or online at southlandinsagency.com.
And welcome back into the Team SMI starting lineup presented by SMI live here at the Mustard Seed Cafe. What a great show we've had so far. Dwight Hochstetler sat down with us, former Bowden Red Devils coach and Greenville head coach. And then, of course, Brian Simmons. Both those guys, tremendous coaches, and Brian will be on the gridiron tomorrow. I'm sure Coach Hochstetler wishes he could be, but Brian will be on the field tomorrow with the Trojans at East Coweta. But let's talk a little college. We're going to try to shift some gears real quick. I'll try to pull up the SEC kind of schedule, but some big games. Auburn, Oregon jumps out immediately as a big game. Tonight, Georgia Tech is going to attempt to play Clemson. I hope that Georgia Tech can give them a game. I really like Jeff Collins. He seems like a really nice guy. He was actually at the Super Bowl week, and we got it. And I don't know if Joel remembers this, but I got to talk to him. Really nice guy, even though I'm a Georgia guy. Had his Waffle House cup and everything. So
I think he's going to win at Tech. It's going to take some time because I saw somewhere where when he got there in the off season, he had 16 running backs on the roster. And that just showed you the scheme that Paul Johnson had. You've got 16 running backs. He needed probably all 16.
Yeah.
So he's going to come in and they're going to change the offense up. It's going to be more of a pro set. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. When coaches take over and they change the schemes, and this is as dramatic of a change as you could get, going from that option. It's just a different type of player that Collins is going to have to recruit. So, Tech fans, I think, know that. And I don't want to put words in the mouth of Georgia Tech fans, but from what I'm hearing from a lot of Tech fans out there is they're going to give him the time because they were looking for a change.
Yeah.
They want a quarterback that'll throw the football or receivers that'll catch it and more wide open offense.
It was funny hearing. I listened to 92.9 The Game every now and again, and it was funny. They had Jeff Collins on press conference today, and he was like, "Georgia Tech fans, you're going to see something that you've never seen or haven't seen since 2007. That's a tight end. They have not caught the tight end has not caught a pass at Georgia Tech since 2007.
And they didn't have any on the roster.
It didn't even have any on the roster.
It's going to take him some time, but what what are the chances? I think there's a 100% chance that they come out and they throw a forward pass on the first play of the game, and it's probably 30 or 40 yards deep.
I'd love to see it. The spread was like 33.5, so if you're a bet man, maybe put some money down on Tech to cover.
I would take Tech to cover that because, look, if you're Clemson and you're Dabo, you have Texas A&M coming in next week. They'll probably get off to a big lead, but, it wouldn't surprise me a bit to see them call the dogs off a little bit at halftime and get those starters, some rest, especially out there in the heat.
Yeah, taking a look at some other matchups, Justin Fields makes his debut on Fox against Florida Atlantic. Lane Kiffin maybe give him a little problems up in Buckeye Nation.
I don't think Lane's got the team that can give them, some problems. But it will be interesting to watch Fields and how he plays. He has so much pressure on him up there. I mean, he has to step up.
Yeah.
And perform. I mean, the environment up there is just going to be a pressure cooker for him, and not just the quarterback, but also the new coach, the rookie coach Ryan Day. So Ohio State is going to be an interesting team to watch. If Fields is the quarterback that people thought he was when he came out of high school, if he is that quarterback, Ohio State can make a run for the playoffs this year.
They most certainly can. And one thing real quick before we get on, Lane Kiffin's a guy, if you have Twitter, give that man a follow. He's hilarious. He was playing Rocky Top the other day at practice.
Yeah,
it's just some great stuff. But
wouldn't it be great to see him come back into the SEC? And I think that's going to happen one day, as long as he doesn't implode, down there.
Yeah.
He had a tough year this past year. He's going to have to get that straightened out. I think he hired I can't remember. He hired an assistant coach that's a pretty big name that can come in and potentially
take over.
Yeah, not take over, but get things settled a little bit on the defensive side of the ball.
The big game in Atlanta this week, the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Classic, Alabama and Duke. Alabama probably received the worst news they could possibly receive, according to a lot of people I've read. Dylan Moses out for the season. He's the Buckus Award finalist from last year. He was probably going to win the award this year. Tears his ACL on the second to last day of practice. And they've already lost one linebacker earlier in camp. So Nick Saban, obviously the talent's there. They got plenty of players, but you lose a guy like that right before a big game. It could change some things.
Yeah, it could. I mean, he was supposed to be the quarterback on the defensive side of the ball for Bama, so that there's going to be an adjustment. They'll be able to plug in another 5-star to replace him. I think in the long run, Alabama is going to be fine on the defensive side of the ball. They do have some suspensions they have to deal with. Saturday against Duke.
Najee Harris is going to be out. He's
the top two running backs are out.
And then Trey Sanders is probably out for the season. Their number one 5-star running back. So David Cutcliffe can really coach. People forget David Cutcliffe is still coaching at Duke. And
so you taking Duke against?
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. But I think it'll be a lot better game for at least one half. But anywho, the Battle of the Carolinas, South Carolina and North Carolina. Will Muschamp versus Mac Brown.
Muschamp, a lot of pressure on him. He's coaching a team in South Carolina. There's been a lot of talk that they're supposed to be a lot better. They got Jake Bentley at quarterback. It's time for him to produce a little bit. But, Muschamp, this is going to be an interesting year. It's a key year for him because the SEC East, it's top heavy. Yeah. But, you should be able, as South Carolina, go in there and compete and try to get, at least third place this year. And if he's not able to do that, I think, the natives are going to get a little restless over there.
And then a couple more matchups. Oregon and Auburn. That's one of the most talked about games. Auburn starting a freshman. Talk about comparing different quarterbacks. You got Justin Herbert for Oregon, who's probably going to be the number one quarterback taken next year, and then Bo Nix, who's going to get his first career start. The hype is real around him. It's going to be a fun game.
I think it's a tough spot for Auburn. Just you've got the freshman quarterback playing in a big spot, and a lot of times you look in a game like this, you look at the most important position, that's the quarterback spot, and you see such a disparity right there. And Bo Nix may be the next best thing, but he's a true freshman quarterback. It's going to take him some time. To get acclimated, to the college game. Oregon is, they're remaking their team. They've got a coach in Mario Cristobal that has coached in the SEC, so he's modeling his Oregon program after
In
the
SEC
SEC
program.
program. So, the defensive linemen are big, the offensive linemen are big. It's a tough game for Auburn, I think, because of the quarterback situation they've got.
Derek Brown, that is good news for Auburn. Derek Brown is returning, top defensive end. Probably could have come out last year, been a mid-round guy. He's looking for a first-round projection for this upcoming year, so look for him to step up for that Auburn defense. But could be a troublesome game for Malzahn in his first game of the season.
Yeah, and it's a big one for Gus because if they lose to Oregon, then that's when you're going to start to hear some of the chatter. And if you go and you look at Auburn's schedule, the first 5 or 6 games are brutal. It's going to be tough for Malzahn if they lose this Oregon game to be 4-2 after 6 games. I mean, if they lose on Saturday, they're looking at something like 3-3. This is a big game.
They play Oregon, and then they've got 2 cupcakes with Tulane and Kent State, and then they go to Texas A&M against your Bulldogs of Mississippi State, and then they're at Florida. So that is a brutal stretch to start the season. They got Florida, they're at Florida and at LSU this year, and of course they've got Georgia.
And then Alabama.
And then Alabama.
It's going to be very difficult. Malzahn could have, and he's got a good team, Matt. A good team. Offensive side of the ball is offensive line and stuff like that. But the defense may be the best defense in the SEC. They're just almost as good, maybe just as good as Alabama. Could be a little bit better than them. It's just that true freshman quarterback. We don't know what we have there. And Auburn is that program. It's fun to watch. We've talked about this before in the sense that they're just entertaining. When you think they're going to be good, they implode. When you think they're going to be terrible,
they're
they
good
do great.
again. Yeah. 3 more games I want to look at. Georgia and Vanderbilt, of course. I'm actually kind of scared for Georgia. I've been saying that all week that they'll be fine, but the offensive line is going to be there for Georgia. But Vandy, hearing Derek Mason talk, he sounds pretty confident. I've always liked Derek Mason. I think he's a great coach. It's hard to get people to come to Vanderbilt and play football, but I'm still worried a little bit, but I think the Dogs will take care of business.
I think you're fine. You sound like Larry Munson over there. Vandy. They're trying to sort their quarterback situation out as well. So I think it's a game that Georgia's going to go over there and be able to eventually call their number. It may take them a little bit of time to get going, but because it's a road game and it's going to be hard to kind of get up for that. But, what about Georgia playing an SEC game to start the year?
It's nice, ain't it? It's nice to have a meaningful game again, and they'll actually have another meaningful game. Virginia is who they'll play next year in the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Classic to start the year. So Georgia finally getting back to some tough games early on in the season. That's nice to see. I'm interested to see on September the 1st, that's Sunday, Oklahoma and Houston are playing. Houston, of course, with the star quarterback who's getting some big-time hype for the Heisman. Jalen Hurts, another guy who's making his debut with Lincoln Riley. That'll be a fun game. And then Notre Dame at Louisville on Labor Day. Interested just to watch Notre Dame play.
Hey, I'm just glad that college football is here. And you didn't mention Mississippi State.
Okay, go ahead and talk to us about who your Bulldogs are playing. Let's see.
No, we're good. We play Louisiana, but, that game is in the New Orleans Superdome.
Oh, okay, cool.
11 o'clock on Saturday morning. So the cowbells are going to be there, the headaches on a Saturday morning in New Orleans. I mean, can you imagine? I'm not going to be there. Don't worry, man.
They're playing the Ragin' Cajuns. That will be on ESPNU starting at 12 p.m. So I'll have to give your Bulldogs a watch when I wake up in the morning.
Give them a watch and watch the quarterback. We call him Touchdown Tommy. Tommy Stevens transferred in from Penn State. Joe Moore had coached him up there.
Gotcha. Well,
hopefully we can throw a forward pass this year.
Yeah.
We couldn't do that last year.
That just about does it here for us on the Team SMI starting lineup. Coming up on B92 Country tomorrow, game of the week is Bremen and Bowden on KISS 102.7. Join Aaron and Greg. And I think I might be hopping on for the pregame a little bit as well in that one as they take on East Coweta on KISS 102.7. And on Great Classics 98.9, Casey Bass and Clay Harden with the call as Villa Rica hosts Martin Luther King. Aaron, any final thoughts?
Let's get after it. Friday night, it starts a big weekend of football. I'm excited.
Really excited about it. Thanks to all of our fine sponsors, Amy Brown State Farm, Edward Jones of Carrollton, Douglasville, and Villa Rica, Osier Apparel, Southland Insurance, West Georgia Plumbing and Septic, and West Georgia Technology Repair. We'll be back next week here, same time, same place, for the Team SMI starting lineup live here at the Mustard Seed Cafe at City Station. And we'll see you tomorrow on Graddock Sports Facebook page and KISS 102.7.
KISS 102.7. WCKS, Fruithurst, Carrollton.
Thanks for listening to the Team SMI starting lineup. Presented by Team SMI and brought to you in part by State Farm Agent Amy Brown, Edward Jones of Carrollton, Douglasville, and Villa Rica, Osier Apparel, Southland Insurance, West Georgia Plumbing, Septic, and HVAC, and West Georgia Technology. Thanks for listening. And remember to join us next Thursday night at 7.